I don't know if we can be as good as we were.
Okay, it's telling me. I think we're live. Let's see. It still says starting. Oh, it says streaming, guys. Brian and I just spoke together for about 3 or so minutes before realizing that we were not
dropping
live.
wisdom. We were dropping wisdom all over the place.
We were being
all missed it.
hilarious, too. You missed some great jokes. Let's see if we can duplicate it. So, yes, I said
Probably
something
not.
about, okay, so today's Saturday. However, for the Packers, it's Friday. So
It's Friday.
Yes, in the Packers schedule, yeah, we dance.
Sir Charles Jones.
we acknowledge the song, so they play this song every time the media walks in on a Friday. Usually it's literally a Friday, but today it was a
It was
Saturday,
weird today
Friday.
because they played Friday by Sir Charles Jones. They played Easy by the Commodores' Lionel Richie, but they didn't play Saturday in the Park. And it's the one day that it actually is Saturday, and so they're all over Friday and Sunday. I was a little confused out there.
Same.
A little confused.
Guys, what are your favorite songs with the word Saturday in it? We'd like to compile a playlist for the Packers for games in the future that are played on Monday nights when they do practice on a Saturday. Maybe they can
use
play
a Saturday song.
They need a song in the playlist with the word Saturday.
Maybe
in
they
it.
just didn't want anything to do with Chicago, and that's why they wouldn't do Saturday.
maybe.
I mean, maybe that had a little NFC North bitterness.
But there are other Saturday songs out there. So
Doesn't have to be Chicago.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys.
Not that you care. That's we're talking about that.
Yes. So please send us your Saturday songs. So guys, thank you for joining us wherever you are. I'm going to dive into the Facebook chat comments in just a little bit. We're also streaming live on Periscope and on YouTube. So wherever you are, as always, thank you for joining us. Also, wherever you are in the world. If you're maybe you're somewhere in Europe, it's Saturday night. What a fun place to be. Yeah, Saturday night in the park. So guys, usually we start out always with the injury report. We do not have the injury report. However, we do have some updates for you that we can say with confidence regarding people who may or may not be active for the game on Monday night against the Detroit Lions. So, namely, Davante Adams. We know now for sure Matt LaFleur confirmed that he will not be playing in the game on Monday night. In addition to Davante Adams, Corey Linsley will be playing. He left the game early against the Dallas Cowboys with in concussion protocol, testing him for symptoms, and he just recently now is no longer in concussion protocol and has confirmed that he will be active playing on Monday night. So that's a big deal for the Packers to have their veteran center, but it's a big deal for the Packers to not have their Pro Bowl wide receiver. Matt LaFleur has been game planning, I am sure, for not having Davante Adams for a while now.
Surprise.
It's not a surprise. However, who is going to be the one to step up in the game on Monday night? Is it going to be Aaron Jones yet again, or is it going to be somebody else?
I think we talked about this yesterday. It's a good litmus test to see how Matt LaFleur approaches Aaron Jones' usage, because it is the same circumstances of last week when they rode him extensively against the Cowboys. Do they go back-to-back on that, especially knowing you're going into a short week against the Raiders the following week? And by the way, a prediction about the short week, I'm not reporting this, but my guess would be that Davante Adams probably doesn't play against the Raiders either, and I would imagine they're probably focusing on trying to get him good for Kansas City, which is going to obviously be a huge game in a couple weeks. I mean, that's just the nature of the turf toe, is that you've got to give it rest for it to heal. The only way to get it better is by not playing. Second straight game that he missed. They're going to be on that short week. Like I said, it's going to be harder than it was this week to get going. I would imagine that Oakland's probably unlikely for him too, and that maybe possibly they target Kansas City for his return.
All right, so something to certainly keep an eye on. We're getting lots of suggestions on Saturday night songs. I'm glad you guys
do care. Awesome.
are into this. We've got Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Yeah, that's good.
By Elton John. We've got, what else? Saturday by Ludacris. I don't think I know that one.
Song.
Can you sing it for us, Andrew, please? Definitely let us know how that one goes.
The clean version.
Yes, Rick right now is on vacation in Ireland. So thank you for watching us in Ireland. We
heard it's a great
appreciate it.
place. I've never been there. They have good beer there, though, apparently.
Yeah, all right. So, guys, if you have any questions for us, certainly let us know. Jeffrey, funny, we might as well talk about this. So Aaron Jones was fined for his wave to a Dallas Cowboys cornerback in the end zone just recently, and Jeffrey thinks that was bogus. It's the NFL's policy, I suppose, to fine its players if they taunt another player upon scoring a touchdown. So no surprise there. However, is it worth the $10,000 to get a good picture, as Aaron Jones said?
Yeah, right.
It might be.
All right, so this is the classic, like, do you hate the rule or do you hate the application of the rule? Because if we're talking about the application of the rule, you can't wave to a defender during a touchdown run. That's called taunting. You get fined for taunting. That's just the way it goes. Now, you can hate the rule. I mean, no fun league, you know. It is fun to be able to do those sort of things. So I can get your gripe that the league is cutting out fun. I mean, he's waving during it. It doesn't seem like a big deal, except that with how the league works, they make it a big deal. So it's not surprising that he was fined. Aaron Jones did say that, you know, his first time offense. That's why it was only $10,500 some odd dollars. He's going to what's the word? Appeal. Thank you. It is very much Saturday. My brain's working like Saturday right now. He's going to appeal because he's a first-time offender. We'll see. You know, I mean, he's got that first-time offense. It's kind of tough when he's got that good picture to say, yeah, it didn't happen. I mean, obviously it happened. The bottom line is the way the league works is taunting is finable, and he taunted and he got fined. And you can hate that that's the case. That's fine, but that's the case.
So I've noticed on the internet right now, it appears that there has been an effort to perhaps crowd fund for Aaron Jones' fine. I don't know if this is an actual thing, but I've seen some chirps out there.
GoFundMe? Is that what it is?
Perhaps something's being set up. I don't know. So if you feel very passionately, I mean, he's on his rookie contract, so $10,000 is not nothing.
Yeah. Maybe to you or I.
Sure. Oh, I mean, it is. It's certainly something to us, but to them, and to like I said,
not that much. But yeah, you know, he did. You know, he's like, he wants that money back, obviously, and I don't blame him. But no, it's just the way the rule goes. You know, you can't taunt, and that is less fun because taunting is fun by nature. I think we all like a good taunt, whether it's for or against whoever. I mean, taunting's fun, but you can't taunt in this league.
All right, so if you have a problem, take it up with the NFL, is the bottom line. Lots of you with your Saturday night songs. Another Saturday Night by Sam Cooke. One More Saturday Night by the Grateful Dead. Thank you, Lucas, for your contributions. I'm going to have to set up a Spotify playlist of Saturday night songs.
We should totally do that.
Saturday Night.
It's becoming a thing now.
By the Bay City Rollers from Joe. Sven says, Out of My Way by Seether. Oh, my goodness.
Out of My Way? That's a Saturday song?
I don't know.
I should know that, too. I like Seether.
All right, well, sharpen up there, Ryan.
I feel bad. Yeah, I feel so culturally inept right now. I don't know any songs.
There's a song called Saturday by Fall Out Boy, too. That's the only one that comes to the top of my head.
Don't know that song either.
Yeah, so I'll sing it for you.
I have a very specific type of music.
We know. I know.
Pearl Jam, everybody.
All right, let's see. Here's a question in all of this Saturday, all the Saturday comments. Brian wants to know, how is Aaron Rodgers' knee? If you know, at the beginning of the week, Aaron Rodgers popped up on the injury report with a knee injury. He was limited in practice the last couple of days. Because we don't have the injury report, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers' involvement today in practice was. We don't know if he was limited. We don't know. He was certainly out there. We saw him out there, at least while the practice was open to the media, but we did not see how involved he was. Obviously, we never do in the team drills. So we'll learn a little bit more about what the status of that is, but what we can tell you is that today and yesterday, it didn't seem like his knee was bothering him at all. And again, prediction, nothing's ever definite, but it certainly seems like he'll be playing on Monday night.
He's playing. Next.
You can't blow through these super quickly. Joe's giving us some crap because he thinks we're very young and we don't know these songs.
I don't feel it. But I am. It's true.
Mike points out, going back to Aaron Jones, he says he's lucky he didn't get flagged for the taunt at the time. I was kind of surprised he got away unscathed. But
a little bit. Yeah. And he also didn't get fined for throwing the football to his brother in the stands, which, I mean, that would have been even more egregious no matter what you think of the wave. The wave I can see him getting fined for. Throwing your football to your brother is it's familial. I mean, it's a cozy feeling inside. I don't know. But, the bottom line, you can't taunt. And, you can't say Aaron Jones didn't taunt. Definition of taunting is blowing past a dude on the way to the end zone and waving at him. That's literally what a taunt is. So
it's a pretty slick way to do it,
It's hard to say you're not taunting in that moment. So
Yeah, it made me laugh, made me smile in the moment.
We got a good picture.
He did. It's a $10,000 picture, though.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Okay, so we get this question. We've been getting this question quite a bit ever since Davante Adams sustained his injury. I believe we even talked about it yesterday, but I'll frame it in a different way so we can have a different conversation about it. Josh wants to know, should Packers fans be concerned about the wide receiver position on the roster at the moment? At what point do you become concerned? As we've discussed over the last, I guess you could say in the last game, the game through the air has not been probably where Aaron Rodgers wants it to be, where the Packers want it to be, but the team's still winning. They're finding ways to win in other ways, especially when it comes to Aaron Jones and how good he is and how good he's been. So at what point should the Packers become concerned? Is it just like, all right, if they start losing or they can't find other ways to win, or should they be concerned now?
There's a couple different ways to look at this. I think, it depends on your definition of concerned. If you look at this roster, the receiver and running back depth, skill players in general, it's the weakest part of this roster. And that's a testament to the job that Ryan Gutekunst has done in other parts of this roster, because a year ago it was they have no pass rush, they can't cover anything. Pretty significant things. In football, there are 4 primary positions: quarterback, left tackle, edge rushers, corner. Those are your 4 primary positions. All 4 of those, they've got Aaron Rodgers, they've got an all-pro left tackle, they've got the Smiths, and they've got Jair Alexander and Kevin King. They've been very good on the outside perimeter. So is the receiver lack of depth and inconsistency in production something that they can't win with? Clearly not. They're 4-1. If they're going forward, is that something that can curtail this team from reaching and going as far as it can go? Perhaps. You can't say it's no chance, but again, those 4 primary positions, they're really solid in, and that's what matters the most. So every team's going to have roster deficiencies. There's no perfect roster. Even the New England Patriots are going to have roster deficiencies. A roster deficiency for the Packers has been the inconsistent production from the skill positions, the depth there especially. I think ultimately this is still a contending team so long as those 4 primary positions are locked down as well as they are right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. I think as you said, injuries happen, and injuries are going to happen somewhere. It just is going to happen. It's the way that the game is. And Nathaniel Hackett spoke a little bit about this yesterday. For him, it's fun, which I think is a kind of an interesting word. It's fun for him to be able to have the challenge of game planning when you don't have all of the pieces right in front of you that you would be typically used to having. So they see it as a challenge, and they understand that it's just the way that the sport works, and they are dealing with the cards that they have, and it's not as easy to go out and find a substitution for not necessarily Davante Adams, but someone that can be behind him in the depth chart immediately. That costs resources, and perhaps they're just not willing at this point to give those resources up.
And it's not like it's a hopeless situation. Of course, Marquez Valdes-Scantling has flashed. Geronimo Allison has shown that he can produce at this level. They have guys who, especially considering this is a young offense, I don't think it's beyond repair that those guys can be very significant quality contributors to this offense at some point this season. And I think that we've seen from both of those guys, Geronimo Allison the end of the half against the Eagles, Marquez Valdes-Scantling more consistently than that. Both those guys have shown that they have that in there. They have to get there. So it's not, it's the big, you talk about next spring, where's this team drafting? Skill position is going to be pretty significant, I think. But it's not like they're hopeless there by any means. They've got some young talent that can develop.
Yes. All right, let's see. We had a question. Someone asked about the Packers' injuries just as a whole. Are there too many injuries right now on the team? We didn't mention, so a couple other practice updates. So Robert Tonyan, tight end, did not practice today, looking more and more unlikely that he will not play, which, he's had some big catches for the team over the last couple of games. I think you think of the one that he had along the sideline just last week against the Dallas Cowboys, the one that presumably he hurt himself on. I don't think he came back into the game after that catch, so it's not looking good for him. On top of that, good news, Tony Brown did practice today. This is his first time back at practice in a little while.
Out of the Philly game.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know in what capacity, if we see Tony Brown at all, when we have the injury report, we'll have a better sense of where he falls, of his status come Monday. But those are two important updates.
Might be tough for Tony Brown because usually this medical staff does not, the first week back from the soft tissue injury, you don't see him on the field on game day. Darnell Savage Jr. is the other one with the ankle. He's as good as out, I would think. I don't think there's any way he's going to play. I think Robert Tonyan has a much better chance of playing Monday night than Darnell Savage Jr. With Robert Tonyan, I talked with him yesterday. He's preparing. I mean, he's going to give it a go, see if he can get to that place where he can make it a game-time decision. I don't know if he can, but it's essentially a bruised hip. So in a lot of ways it becomes just a pain tolerance type thing. Bruised hip, that hurts. I mean, that's really tough, especially for a tight end. You're in the three-point stance and doing all those things with your hips. I mean, that's difficult to play through. So could be a situation where they give him another week. But I do think that of the three that did not practice today, and frankly, you can probably even throw Tony Brown in there and make it four, Robert Tonyan's probably the most likely to play Monday night, and just guessing.
Interesting. And we saw Kevin King just a week ago come to play in the game against the Cowboys when he hadn't practiced all week, and he, I believe, had a groin injury.
Yes, it was the groin, and then he had, and his knee's been fine this week. So, yeah, you never know. He was doubtful on Friday, which is, again, it's Friday in Packers world. So he was doubtful on that Friday, and then got upgraded on the Saturday to questionable and played, obviously. So you never really know how this is going to go. It depends on how guys' bodies respond to the ample amount of recovery and training room time that they're putting in. I mean, these guys are around the clock taking care of their bodies when they're injured. So you just don't know how the body's going to respond.
Yep, and as we know with Kevin King, Matt LaFleur, these guys say that they're ready. We know LaFleur has put guys in even if they haven't practiced all week. So we never know. We'll find out soon enough. John, Piano Man by Billy Joel, another Saturday song.
That's true.
9 o'clock on a Saturday?
It was 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Good. That's a good one. Thank you, John, for that contribution.
Way to put bread in that jar, John.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right, we'll take a couple more here, guys, or maybe even just one. Why don't we just cut to the chase and talk a little bit about the game on
Prediction
Monday?
time?
Yeah, let's.
I asked you earlier, and you're being all, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me who you're picking.
I haven't really made a solid prediction yet, but if you go first, I'll do one in my head.
Man, I sent in my prediction to our editor, and I can't for the life of me remember the score I picked. I think I said
Just generalize.
I think I said like 31-24 or something like that. Yeah, 31-24 Packers. I don't see the Lions winning. Now here's the deal. They can't overlook the Lions. The Lions have won 4 straight against the Packers, which seems just unheard of, and that's because it is. It hasn't happened since 1983. We weren't born. We are that young, so it's been a long while since the Packers have won 4 straight. I don't think they're making it 5. I just don't see them coming into Lambeau Field against this defense and scoring enough points, especially with an ascending offense, an offense that has scored more points in every single game this year than the week before. I think the Packers do win this one. I think it will be close. I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Packers will win this one 31-24, and it'd be a big win, Olivia, because you're talking about starting the season not only 5-1, but 3 of those 5 wins, NFC North, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit. You want to talk about kind of reclaiming that, planting that flag and saying that you're the team beating the North, that would be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would agree with you. I think the Packers are going to win this one. I'm going to go 30-17.
30-17. Ooh,
how's
nice,
that?
nice, comfy margin there.
I'm going to take a step further and say that they're going to beat the Raiders at home too.
And go in 6-1.
6-1 to Kansas City.
I'll see what the injury outlook is for the Packers.
That's
going
true.
Into, but
you know what? I shouldn't. If they
she's on the record. You heard it.
No.
She said it.
Even without Davante Adams against the Raiders.
Okay. I just
not like without Aaron Rodgers, for example. Like there's
that would be tough.
Limitations to
good old Tim Boyle going out there. I would agree that if the Packers stay unscathed on the injury department, that they're probably looking at 6-1. There's a very good chance that they could be looking at 6-1 going into Kansas City, and what a game that would be.
Oh man, it's been on my calendar for a while. I think
Big
we're all
game.
looking forward to it.
Big game.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we will be back Monday night here to preview. We're looking forward to it. We'll be Pete Doherty and I before the game to take your questions, look a little bit at the game itself, and then after the game, it'll be Ryan Wood and I just to wrap up and again take your questions. It's going to be a late one, so if you're a true fan and you can stay awake that late, come join us afterwards.
You should though, because we'll be fresh out of locker room. And as soon as even before I write my story, I'll be on here, and it'll be instant reaction as soon as we get out of the locker room.
Hopefully, we won't be half asleep. I'm gonna promise you guys that I'm going to be full of energy. Ryan,
I have a lot of caffeine.
Will you be full of energy?
Am I ever full of
You
energy?
are always full of energy.
Okay, she says so.
All right, guys, check out PackersNews.com for lots of coverage. Always follow us on our social media channels as well for more updates. And that's all for us. Enjoy